In this video tutorial, I will show you how to use pipelines in PySAGA-cmd. In this particular example, we will try to get a hydrologically preprocessed DEM. And this is done by chaining two tools. They are called sink drainage root detection and sink removal. They are both available in the preprocessor library in SAGA GIS. First, I will actually show you the steps in SAGA GIS to get the hydrologically preprocessed DEM. So we'd have to run sink drainage root detection, which will create a sink root raster. It's this one. And then you have to run the sink removal with the sink root, with the generated sink root file, like so. And this will create a hydrologically preprocessed DEM. We see the difference, right? Okay, so how do we actually do this in PySAGA-cmd? First of all, let's just import the objects that we also imported last time. So the SAGA object and the getSampleDEM function, which gives us a raster for testing purposes. Here we instantiate the SAGA object, we access the preprocessor library, and we print the standard output of the execution of the preprocessor library. So here we can see the tools that we can access from this library. And we are interested in sink drainage root detection and sink removal, which we actually define here. As you can see, root detection, preprocessing library, through div, and the name of the tool. And we can actually even look at the objects. This is a tool object, and this is a raster object. How do we actually define pipelines? Let's actually create a separate cell for this particular code. First of all, we have to define the parameters for each tool. In the last example, I showed you how to do it by doing this, how to execute tools, and we would access the execute method of the tool object and we pass in the keyword arguments. But if you actually call the object without the execute method, like so, you will actually define the parameters without executing the object, like so. So we see the parameters that we passed in here. We can even look at the command. Right, so this is the command that's going to be passed in. This is the command that will launch the subprocess call. And this will generate the output sink root. You can even print it like this. Yeah, so these are the parameters, like I said. But the object is not being executed. We can execute it by running the execute method. You see the process bar. But how do we actually chain these tools? Because we see here that the sink root has to be passed as an input to the sink removal. And you actually see it here. All the parameters that are being passed in are also turned into attributes of the object. So we can access, for example, root detection, and we access the elevation property, or attribute rather. The same goes for sink root, right? If we actually access the sink root attribute, we get the path to the sink root file. Yeah, so the same goes for elevation here. And we can pass them like this explicitly. And the DEM preprocess is just a path somewhere in my computer. So basically, this file is going to be created. And how do we actually use a pipeline? How do we actually create a pipeline object? We use the OR operator between two tools like this, and this actually returns a pipeline object. If we print it, we actually get a nice print with the path to the tool and the parameters. And yeah, this pipeline thing can be used as an iterator. So we can do this, for example, or like anything else, like this. Here we access some properties. We look at the type. So it's a pipeline object. It has two tools. So this is a list of the tools. And here we see the tool count, which is 2. And how to execute the pipeline? It's rather simple. You just run the execute method with verbose as equal to true if you want to see the progress, like so. Yes, so basically the execute method of the pipeline object returns a list of tool outputs. So we have this is the output for the sink drainage root detection. It's the sink root, as you can see here, and the last one. So that's the second tool. The second tool output is for sink removal. Yeah, and we see they are inferred as raster objects. And we can actually plot them. So here we access the files of sink removal. We access the then preprocessed parameter, which points to the output file, and we just plot it. That's rather simple. Yeah, and this is how you use pipelines in PySAGA CMD.